Some mornings feel like a quiet war inside your mind. You wake up not to peace but to pressure, thoughts racing, heart unsettled, a sense that the day is already slipping through your fingers before it even begins. It's not that something bad has happened. It's that your mind has already started running without you. And if you've felt this even once, you know how deeply it can shape your entire day. But what if the first few minutes of your morning weren't a fight, but a practice? What if they were sacred? In Buddhism, the Buddha taught that what you do with the mind shapes your world. Not the world outside, but your inner landscape, the place where peace or suffering begins. So what you choose to do with your first breath, your first thought, your first step out of bed, matters more than most people realize. In today's video, we're going to walk through 11 powerful practical ways to train your mind each morning, using Buddhist wisdom, real-life habits, and simple shifts you can make starting tomorrow. These aren't abstract ideas. They're grounding practices that bring calm, clarity, and discipline to your everyday life. And before we begin, I want to share something small. This channel exists because of people like you, people who want more peace, more presence, more meaning. If you appreciate the kind of content we create here, there's one free and simple favor I'd love to ask you. Hit the subscribe button. It helps keep this journey going, and it tells us you're walking this path with us. Also, don't skip around in this video. Each lesson is part of a deeper rhythm, and you won't want to miss the shifts that build as we go. Ready to begin? There's something quietly powerful about the very first moment you wake up. Before your feet hit the ground, before your phone lights up, before the noise of the world enters your mind, there's this small, delicate space. Most people miss it. We're trained to jump into action, to check messages, to start thinking about deadlines or problems. But that little window, those few silent minutes, can either anchor your entire day or let it unravel before it even begins. The Buddha often spoke about mindfulness at the beginning. Not just beginning a meditation or a task, but beginning the day itself with awareness. Because how you start is how you carry everything that follows. Our modern world doesn't make this easy. The first thing many of us do is reach for our phones. Notifications, news, conversations, all flooding into a mind that hasn't yet found its center. And suddenly, we're reacting to the past, to the outside world, to things we can't even control. And what's lost in all of this is presence, clarity, inner space. But here's the truth. You don't have to start your day that way. You can reclaim it. You can begin with stillness. Not as a performance or ritual, but as a return to yourself, to your breath, to this very moment. Even just sitting upright in bed, closing your eyes, and breathing slowly for 2 minutes can change everything. You're not trying to do anything. You're simply allowing the mind to settle before it takes shape for the day. In Buddhism, this is like cleaning the bowl before pouring the tea. If the bowl is dirty, full of leftover emotions, stress, distractions, whatever you pour in gets clouded. But if you clean the bowl first, what enters is clear and nourishing. Morning stillness is your way of cleaning the mind before it meets the world. The Buddha taught that the mind is like water. When it's agitated, it becomes difficult to see. But if you allow it to settle, the answer becomes clear. That's what these few minutes of silence give you. They allow your inner water to settle, so instead of being pulled into the storm of your thoughts, you observe them. You breathe, you return to your body, and slowly you begin to feel grounded, not in anxiety, but in awareness. You don't need to call it meditation. You don't need incense or a special cushion. Just sit or lie quietly. Feel the breath moving in and out of your body. If thoughts arise, notice them. Let them pass like clouds across the sky, and remind yourself, this moment is enough. In this space, you start to remember what you usually forget, that you are not your thoughts. You are the one witnessing them. And that single realization, repeated every morning, builds a different kind of strength, a peaceful strength. A Buddhist monk once said, "Silence is not empty, it is full of answers." And in the stillness of morning, those answers begin to whisper. You start to realize what truly matters, what needs your energy, what doesn't. You begin to set the tone of the day with your own intention, not the chaos of the outside world. And most importantly, you begin to trust yourself, because you gave yourself the space to listen. Some mornings you wake up and feel directionless, not because your day is empty, but because your mind is. There's no clarity, no grounding, no sense of what you're really moving toward. You get dressed, eat, commute, work, respond to messages, maybe even check off a few to-do list items. But deep down, you feel like you're drifting. That sense of drifting isn't a flaw, it's a symptom, a sign that the mind hasn't been given a compass. And in Buddhism, that compass is something very specific, a virtue you choose to live by. The Buddha didn't just speak in grand philosophies, he gave real practical teachings for how to walk through life with integrity and awareness. One of the most powerful teachings involves the cultivation of the paramis. These are qualities of the awakened mind like patience, generosity, mindfulness, compassion, and wisdom. The key is not to try and master them all at once. That only leads to overwhelm. Instead, you begin with one, just one. Each morning, before the day begins to pull you in every direction, you choose a single virtue to live by for that day. It's not about perfection, it's about intention. Let's say you choose patience. From the moment you set that intention, every little delay, every frustrating moment becomes a chance to practice. When traffic is slow, when someone interrupts you, when plans fall apart, those aren't annoyances anymore. They become your training ground. You breathe, notice the reaction rising, and gently return to your chosen path. You remind yourself, this is the lesson I asked for. This is the exact situation I need to grow patience with. It transforms daily irritation into purposeful practice. You're no longer just reacting, you're becoming. Other days you might choose truthfulness, and suddenly the little white lie you attempted to tell to avoid conflict becomes an opportunity to practice courage. Or you choose compassion, and that one person you find difficult becomes the mirror that shows you where your heart still tightens. The beauty of this approach is that it simplifies everything. Instead of getting overwhelmed by every possible decision, you filter your actions through a single virtue. You ask, is this aligned with the quality I chose to grow today? That clarity cuts through noise. The Buddha often said, "We are what we think. With our thoughts, we make the world." But he didn't stop there. He encouraged his followers to train the mind, to discipline it, not with force, but with steady awareness and ethical intention. When you choose a virtue each morning, you're setting the tone not just for how you act, but for how you see. You begin to notice how often your reactions are habitual, how often you're pulled off course by small emotions, and how easily the mind can drift into distraction when it has no anchor. And here's something important. This isn't about becoming rigid or moralistic. It's about living more consciously. Choosing a daily virtue doesn't mean you'll always succeed. Some days you'll forget. You'll snap, you'll rush, you'll fall short. That's okay. The point is not perfection. The point is awareness. You start again. You reflect. And with each new sunrise, you get another chance, another moment to pick up the compass and walk the path with a little more clarity than before. One of the most beautiful parts of this practice is how it softens the heart. When you start seeing your own struggles with patience or truth or compassion, you begin to understand others more deeply. You become less judgmental, more forgiving. The same way you stumble, they do too. And in that shared humanness, something opens, something tender and wise. Some mornings you feel it before anything even happens, that tightness in your chest, the quiet dread creeping in. You've just opened your eyes, but your mind is already racing through worst-case scenarios. Will the meeting go wrong? What if someone judges you? What if something breaks or someone disappoints you? It might sound like anxiety, but it's actually something deeper, a quiet fear of the unknown. The Buddha never promised us a life without uncertainty. In fact, he reminded us again and again that uncertainty is the nature of existence. But rather than fearing it, he encouraged us to face it mindfully, not with panic, but with preparation. This is where morning practice becomes more than just a routine. It becomes a kind of emotional training ground. In Buddhism, one of the most powerful teachings is that suffering arises not from the events themselves, but from our attachment to things going a certain way. When we expect everything to unfold perfectly, even the smallest deviation can feel like a personal failure. But when we begin the day with the understanding that obstacles will arise and prepare our minds for that possibility, we take back control. It's not about predicting disasters, it's about choosing readiness over reactivity. Think about how a seasoned meditator prepares for a session. They don't sit expecting perfect stillness or an empty mind. They expect the mind to wander, to resist, to be restless, and so they meet those moments with patience. Why don't we apply that same wisdom to daily life? Why not begin each day expecting that something might go wrong? Not in a fearful way, but in a way that trains us to remain steady. This mindset in Buddhist thought is an act of compassion toward ourselves. We're not trying to eliminate difficulty. We're learning to meet it with a heart that's already softened, already aware. The Buddha once said, "All conditioned things are impermanent." When one sees this with wisdom, one turns away from suffering. That's the core of it. When you accept that things may not go as planned, you stop being shocked when they don't. You stop taking it personally, you stop spiraling. And instead, you respond with mindfulness, with breath, with steadiness. You become someone who's not just living, they're practicing. So how do we bring this into the morning? It's simple but powerful. Before the emails, before the rush. Just sit for a few minutes and ask yourself, what might throw me off today? You don't need a dramatic list, just notice the small likely disruptions. Maybe the bus is late. Maybe your co-worker is in a bad mood. Maybe you forget something important. Acknowledge each one gently. Picture it. Feel the discomfort it might bring. And then breathe. Say to yourself, if this happens, I will meet it with presence. That statement alone changes everything. It transforms fear into preparation, anxiety into awareness. Athletes do this kind of mental rehearsal all the time. They imagine missing a shot, losing the lead, falling behind. Why? So that when it happens, they don't freeze. They adapt. That's exactly what we're doing in this practice. We're training the nervous system to stay soft, not tense, to observe, not panic. This doesn't make us pessimists. It makes us calm, clear-eyed realists. The kind of people who don't crumble under pressure because they've already accepted that pressure is part of the path. There's something deeply exhausting about trying to control everything. You plan every detail. You worry about how people will respond. You try to predict what might go wrong before it happens. And even with all that effort, things still fall apart. People still misunderstand you. Life still surprises you. And at the end of the day, you're left wondering why it feels like your energy is always being drained. The Buddha taught that this kind of suffering comes not from the world itself, but from our craving to control what isn't ours to hold. It's like grasping at clouds. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. Every morning we're given a choice, not a loud dramatic one, but a quiet internal decision. Will I spend today clinging to things beyond my reach? Or will I gently let go of what I can't control and bring my focus inward, back to the part of the world I can influence, my own mind, my own heart, my own response? This is the wisdom the Buddha passed down over 2,500 years ago. It may sound simple, but it's one of the most powerful mental disciplines you can practice, learning to recognize what's in your hands and what's not. You can't control if someone cuts you off in traffic. but you can control whether you yell or take a deep breath. You can't control your boss's attitude, but you can control how you carry yourself in that meeting. You can't stop the weather, the news, or the twists of fate, but you can decide how much space you let those things take in your heart. This is more than stress management. It's spiritual clarity. When you stop trying to manage the uncontrollable, you free up your inner resources to actually do something meaningful with your time and energy. Buddhism doesn't ask you to be passive, it asks you to be wise. The Buddha never said, do nothing. He said, be mindful of your efforts. There's a concept in Buddhism called upekkha, often translated as equanimity. It's a calm state of balance born from understanding what is and isn't within your control. It's not indifference, it's deep peace. When you practice this kind of inner balance each morning, you begin to notice how much of your tension comes from fighting invisible battles, worrying about someone else's opinion, obsessing over whether everything will go according to plan, trying to force outcomes as if life owes us something. It doesn't. And the sooner we stop demanding that life always cooperate with us, the more room we create for presence, flexibility, and real peace. So how do you actually practice this? One powerful morning habit is to sit quietly with a journal, or just your thoughts, and ask two simple questions. What is within my control today, and what is not? Maybe what's within your control is the time you wake up, the attitude you bring to your tasks, or how kindly you speak to someone. Maybe what's outside your control is whether the project gets approved, or whether someone texts you back. Write them down. Say them out loud if you want to. Let the uncontrollable things go, not because you don't care, but because you care about your peace more. The Buddha once said, let go of the past, let go of the future, let go of what is not yours. Each morning is a chance to live by those words. You don't need to predict the future or replay the past. You need to return to this breath, this moment, and this clear inner boundary. The more you do it, the stronger that muscle becomes. You begin to walk through your day not as someone constantly reacting to the world, but as someone rooted in awareness, focused on the only thing they truly own, their own mind. Some mornings, you just don't feel like doing anything. You lie there, staring at the ceiling, hoping motivation will find you. You tell yourself, I'll get up in 5 minutes, or I'll wait until I'm more awake, or let me just check my phone first. And before you know it, half an hour has passed and you've already lost control of the day. The truth is, we waste so much of our energy waiting for the right mood to begin. But the Buddha didn't teach us to wait for perfect conditions. He taught us to begin where we are, even if the mind is foggy, even if we don't feel ready. Because it's not our feelings that shape our lives, it's our actions. In Buddhist practice, this principle is deeply rooted in what's called right effort. It's one of the steps on the Noble Eightfold Path. But right effort doesn't mean pushing yourself to exhaustion. It means showing up, gently, consistently, with intention. The Buddha knew the mind is tricky. It resists discomfort. It clings to habits. It delays growth in favor of ease. So he taught us not to believe every thought, not to follow every feeling, but to plant wholesome seeds through our choices. And one of the most powerful seeds you can plant is simply this: get up and do what needs to be done, even if you don't feel like it. The problem is, we've been conditioned to think we need to feel inspired in order to act. But inspiration is unreliable. Some days it's there, and some days it isn't. Discipline, however, can be trained. Think of it like lighting a fire. You don't wait for the warmth to appear and then go looking for wood. You gather the wood, strike the spark, and only then does the fire grow. That first step, however small, is where everything begins. Maybe it's putting on your shoes. Maybe it's drinking a glass of water. Maybe it's opening the window and taking a deep breath. These actions might seem insignificant, but they carry an important message to your mind. We are not waiting anymore. The Buddha's own life is a testimony to this. He didn't awaken under the Bodhi tree because he felt ready. He did it because he made a vow to sit through the discomfort. He faced tiredness, hunger, temptation, and fear, and yet he stayed. Not because he felt strong every moment, but because he chose to act with resolve. His awakening came through action, not ideal circumstances. And we follow that same path, not through comfort, but through commitment. Now let's bring this down to the simplest level, your morning. When the alarm rings and your body says stay, but your deeper self knows you need to move, that is the moment of practice. Don't negotiate with your feelings, just get up, wash your face, make your bed, stretch your body, write one sentence in your journal. These tiny acts are not just routines, they're declarations. They say, I'm taking responsibility for this moment. And what's amazing is that once you start, momentum builds. Science supports this too. When we take even the smallest action, our brain releases dopamine, the chemical associated with reward. That little push creates its own reward loop. Action leads to motivation, not the other way around. We don't meditate because we always feel calm. We meditate to train the mind toward calmness. We don't speak kindly because we always feel loving. We speak kindly to become more loving. In Buddhism, we are always shaping the mind through practice, so why not shape it first thing in the morning? Why not act even when it's uncomfortable, knowing that with every small effort, you're rewriting the script your mind usually runs on? There's a strange kind of wake-up call that doesn't come from an alarm clock. It comes from the quiet realization that one day you won't wake up at all. No one talks about it, but deep down, we all know it. Life is uncertain. You might have plans, routines, goals, even a 5-year vision board. But the truth is, none of us are guaranteed tomorrow. And that awareness can either paralyze you, or it can wake you up. In Buddhist teaching, this is known as marana sati, or mindfulness of death. But it's not a morbid idea. It's one of the most powerful tools for living a meaningful, intentional life. Because when you remember how temporary this all is, you stop wasting your time on things that don't matter. Think about it. How many times have you said, I'll do it later next week never? And meanwhile, the things that actually matter, calling a loved one, watching the sunrise, saying I'm sorry, starting that thing you've been putting off, they all get delayed. Why? Because we think we have time. But the Buddha reminded us again and again, this breath is the only one you can truly count on. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, just this one. And when you really let that sink in, not just as a thought but as a felt truth, it changes how you live your mornings and your life. A teacher once said, live as if you were already dead. Not in a dramatic way, but in a deeply awake way. If this were your last sunrise, how would you meet it? If this were your final chance to speak to someone you love, what would you say? These questions aren't meant to scare you. They're meant to bring you back, to make this moment real again. When you start your day from that place, even something as simple as sipping tea becomes sacred. You feel your breath, you listen to the birds, you notice the light streaming through the window. You're not rushing to check your phone. You're not already 1,000 thoughts ahead. You're here. This practice doesn't mean walking around fearing death. On the contrary, it frees you from the fear. Because instead of avoiding it, you integrate it. You stop running. And in doing so, you come alive in a way you didn't know you could. The Buddha's own life was deeply shaped by this insight. When he saw sickness, old age, and death for the first time, it shattered his illusions. He realized no amount of wealth, comfort, or distraction could protect him from what's inevitable. But instead of falling into despair, he chose to awaken. He turned toward the truth and asked, what really matters? That question became the beginning of enlightenment. So how do you practice this in your own life? In a real, grounded way. Each morning when you rise, take a moment, not to check the news or your schedule, but to remember that this is a new day, a gift. Not everyone gets one, Feel your heartbeat, feel your breath. Say, I'm alive, I am here. Let that be your anchor. Then ask yourself, if this were my last day, what would I not want to miss? Maybe it's a conversation, maybe it's a walk, maybe it's just showing up fully, without resentment or regret. The point isn't to do something grand. The point is to do the small things with your whole heart. And when you inevitably forget, when you get caught in stress or rush or distraction, come back to the breath. That single inhale, that single exhale, it's your reminder, your compass, your teacher. In the end, living with the awareness of death isn't about dying at all. It's about finally living. Living with presence, living with compassion, living with clarity. And most of all, living in a way that would make the Buddha gently smile and say, "You are walking the path." You know that feeling when life throws something unexpected at you, a delay, a broken appliance, a frustrating encounter, and suddenly your whole mood shifts? One moment you're calm, the next you're tense, irritated, or questioning why things can't just go smoothly for once. It's natural. We've all been there. But here's the deeper truth the Buddha invites us to see. Peace isn't about everything going your way. It's about how you meet things when they don't. That shift in perspective is the beginning of real freedom. Because when we stop demanding life to always be pleasant and start learning how to be present with whatever arises, we step into a much steadier kind of strength. In Buddhism, there's a word for this kind of strength, upekkha, or equanimity. It means remaining balanced, even when life pulls you in different directions. But to live with equanimity, we need more than passive acceptance. We need to stop seeing difficulties as obstacles and begin seeing them as part of the path. The Buddha didn't promise a life free of discomfort. He taught that discomfort is guaranteed. What matters is how we hold it. And that's where the teaching of Amorphati, or love of fate, though stoic in name, deeply resonates with Buddhist wisdom. It's about not only accepting what comes, but embracing it as fuel for growth. Think about your own mornings. You wake up ready to be focused and present. But then, your internet goes down, your schedule gets rearranged, or someone says something that instantly throws you off balance. Now you're reactive, frustrated, feeling like the whole day is ruined. But what if instead you paused and said to yourself, "This is part of it. This too is my practice." Suddenly, you're not a victim of circumstance, you're a student of the moment. That shift changes everything. Buddhism teaches that everything is impermanent, and within that impermanence lies the opportunity to awaken. Even the most annoying, inconvenient, uncomfortable moments can be our teachers, if we let them. There's a beautiful story from the Buddha's life. One day, as he was walking barefoot through a village, a man came up to him and began insulting him viciously. But the Buddha stood still, calm, unmoved. When the man finally stopped shouting, the Buddha asked him gently, "If someone offers you a gift and you decline to accept it, to whom does it belong?" The man, confused, replied, "To the one who offered it." The Buddha smiled and said, "Then I do not accept your anger, and it remains with you." That's Amorphati in action, not resisting the event, not retaliating, but meeting the moment with clarity, with mastery of the inner world. Loving your fate doesn't mean pretending things are perfect or never feeling discomfort. It means you trust that even when life doesn't go your way, you're still being guided, still being shaped. You don't have to enjoy the challenge to honor it. You can say, "This is hard, but I'll meet it with patience." Or, "This hurts, but I won't turn bitter." Each time you do, you strengthen your capacity to remain centered, not because life is easy, but because you have chosen to grow. There's something deeply underrated about simply moving your body. Not for fitness goals, not to look a certain way, but because movement, in its purest form, is one of the oldest ways we come back to ourselves. The Buddha understood this. After his enlightenment, he didn't just sit under a tree forever. He walked, slowly, mindfully, with presence. His walking was not a break from meditation, it was meditation. That's something most of us forget. In our modern lives, we often treat the body like a separate thing, like it's just the machine carrying our thoughts around. But Buddhist teachings remind us that the mind and body are deeply interconnected. What you do to one echoes in the other. When you wake up in the morning, your mind might still be foggy, distracted, or anxious. Sometimes no amount of thinking or positive affirmations can clear that fog. But then you move, just a few steps, a stretch, a breath linked to motion, and something begins to shift. You're not just changing your physical state, you're reshaping your mental state. There's a quiet intelligence in the body that helps regulate the storm in the mind. The Buddha encouraged his followers to observe this deeply, especially through practices like walking meditation or mindful movement. He taught that when we move with awareness, we return to the present moment. And the present is the only place where peace exists. It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need a gym, fancy shoes, or a perfect routine. What matters is the intention. You could do 5 minutes of stretching, walking barefoot on the ground, or simply raising your arms in rhythm with your breath. These small rituals reconnect you to your body, and by doing so, they stabilize your mind. And in a world that constantly pulls us into distraction, that connection is sacred. It's a form of discipline with kindness. You're not punishing yourself into movement. You're choosing it because you honor this vessel you've been given. Buddhist monastics start their day before sunrise with body-centered activities, sweeping, bowing, walking, not as chores, but as meditations in motion. These aren't tasks to be checked off. They are acts of reverence. Every motion becomes a chance to observe the self. When you approach your own morning movement with that same mindset, it becomes a path. You are saying to yourself, I am here, I am awake, I am engaged with this life. And that is powerful. There's also something else that happens when you regularly move your body. You begin to strengthen the virtue of energy, viriya in Pali, one of the core strengths in Buddhist practice. It's not just physical stamina, it's mental effort, the capacity to keep going even when it's difficult. Each morning that you choose to stretch, walk, or engage your body, you are practicing viriya. You're building resilience from the inside out, not through force but through presence, through choice. And here's a little secret that long-time meditators and monks will tell you. The body becomes your anchor. When your thoughts are spinning, when emotions are loud, the body is always available. Always real, always now. You can ground into your breath. You can feel the soles of your feet against the floor. You can follow the rhythm of your steps. And in that moment, you're not lost in the past or reaching for the future. You are home. Some words don't just speak to you, they center you. They cut through the noise of the day and remind you of what actually matters, and sometimes all it takes is a single sentence to bring your mind back home. That's why, for many on the Buddhist path, beginning the morning with a short teaching or reflection is not just a habit, it's a form of daily realignment. In a world that pulls us in 1,000 directions the moment we wake up, these words become anchors, keeping us from drifting too far from who we really are. The Buddha's teachings weren't meant to be locked away in temples or dusty books. They were meant to be lived, woven into the way we move through each day. Starting your morning with a few lines from the Dhammapada or a simple phrase like, "With our thoughts we make the world," can shift your entire mindset. Not because the words are magical, but because they open a space in your mind, a space of awareness, calm, and clarity. When you read something rooted in truth, even if it's just one line, you begin the day with a compass, not chaos. And it's not just about reading, it's about reflecting. This is where real transformation begins. After you read a passage or a quote, take a minute to pause, breathe. Ask yourself gently, how does this apply to my life right now? Let it echo through your mind. Maybe the verse was about anger, and as you sit with it, you remember how quickly you snapped at someone yesterday. Maybe the quote was about patience, and you realize how restless you've been lately, pushing for results instead of letting things unfold. These reflections aren't about guilt. They're about awareness. And awareness is the first step to freedom. You don't need to set aside an hour for this practice. Just 3 to 5 minutes is enough. You could keep a small notebook near your bed and write down the quote and your reflections. You might ask yourself, what's the one thing I want to carry from this teaching into my day? Let it be simple. Let it be personal. If the teaching is about mindfulness, your reflection might be, today I'll pause before responding. That small decision, born from reflection, becomes the thread that ties the rest of your day together. This practice is actually quite similar to what monks do in monasteries. In many Buddhist traditions, monks begin their day by reciting or reading verses from the sutras. But it's not just recitation, it's contemplation. They sit with those words, sometimes in silence, allowing the teachings to steep into their consciousness like tea. Over time, this repetition and reflection don't just influence their mornings. They shape their character, their reactions, their way of seeing the world. And you can do this too, even in the middle of your busy life. The beautiful thing about starting your morning this way is that it gently trains your mind to seek truth. The more you reflect on teachings of peace, compassion, impermanence, and inner strength, the more those qualities grow within you. You stop getting swept away by every small inconvenience. You remember what you're actually here for. You start responding instead of reacting. And even when things go wrong, there's something inside you that stays still. That's the quiet power of living with intention. Some of the most important conversations we'll ever have are the ones we have with ourselves, not the loud, critical ones, not the anxious, rushed ones, but the quiet, honest ones, the kind that unfold when the world is still, when there's no need to perform or pretend. And that's why journaling, especially in the morning, is one of the most powerful tools we have to discipline the mind. It's not about writing perfectly. It's not about crafting beautiful sentences. It's about meeting yourself gently and truthfully before the world adds its noise. In Buddhism, reflection is considered an essential part of mental cultivation. The Buddha often encouraged his followers to pause and examine their thoughts and behaviors, not with judgment, but with mindful awareness. Why did I act that way? Where did that craving come from? What caused that suffering? These weren't philosophical puzzles, they were invitations to see clearly. And journaling today offers us that same window. It allows us to see the mind, not as a fog of endless thoughts, but as a clear landscape we can understand and navigate. When you wake up and immediately write, something shifts. You begin the day not by reacting, but by observing. Maybe you jot down what you're feeling. Maybe you write about a strange dream. Or maybe you notice that your body feels tense or your thoughts are already rushing. That's okay. The practice isn't about fixing, it's about seeing. The Buddha said, to understand everything is to forgive everything. When you write, you begin to understand. And that understanding leads to compassion for yourself, for your struggles, and for your growth. You might be thinking, but what do I write about? Start with simple questions. What am I feeling right now? What's one thing I want to carry with me today? What's one thing I want to let go of? These reflections aren't just mental exercises, they're emotional cleanses. They bring the hidden parts of your mind into the light where they can be softened, healed, and guided. A monk once told me that writing each morning is like brushing your mind's teeth. It removes the residue of yesterday, so you can enter today clean. Some mornings your journaling will be deep and introspective. Other days, it might be 2 lines and a yawn. Both are perfect. What matters is that you show up for yourself with presence. This consistency, The act of returning to your thoughts with kindness is what disciplines the mind. In the same way the Buddha taught us to return to the breath in meditation, journaling teaches us to return to truth in daily life. There's also something powerful about having a record of your journey, a place where you can look back and notice how your reactions have softened, how your awareness has deepened, how your pain has evolved into peace. It becomes proof that you are not stuck, that your mind is not fixed, that you are growing, even on days when it feels slow. And let's not forget, this practice is entirely your own. You don't need a fancy journal. You don't need perfect grammar. You just need a few minutes of stillness and a pen that listens. Some people write in the morning to set their intention. Others write at night to reflect. You can do both, or you can find your own rhythm. There are no rules, only sincerity. Some people start their mornings chasing achievement, others start with stress, but the most powerful way to begin your day doesn't come from pushing harder, it comes from softening your heart. Before the world gets loud, before the demands rush in, there's a quiet moment where your inner life can set the tone. And in that moment, you have a choice, to begin with grasping and noise, or to begin with spaciousness and warmth. The Buddha once said, "Let us live happily, free from hatred among those who hate." That freedom begins not when everything outside changes, but when the weight inside is lifted. And that's exactly what gratitude and forgiveness can do for your mind. Gratitude is not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about remembering that not everything is broken. When we wake up, the mind naturally looks for problems. It scans for what's missing, what's uncertain, what could go wrong. This is what the Buddha called the restless mind, always reaching, never settled. But gratitude redirects that energy. It teaches the mind to pause, breathe, and notice. The breath is here. The body is alive. A new day has come. We take so many things for granted. The roof above us, the people who love us, even the ability to walk, speak, or see. When you start your day by recognizing these simple truths, you stop racing for more and begin feeling full with less. It's not about writing a long list. Even saying thank you out loud before your feet touch the ground plants a seed of contentment that can grow throughout your entire day. But alongside gratitude, there's another practice, and it's harder. Forgiveness. And not the kind we often think of, where someone apologizes and we generously say it's okay. No, I'm talking about the kind that lives in your chest quietly, tightly. The resentment that lingers, the words that were never said, the old pain you don't want to carry, but don't know how to put down. Buddhism teaches that holding on to anger is like holding a burning coal with the intention of throwing it at someone. You're the one who gets burned. Forgiveness isn't about making what happened right. It's about freeing yourself from the story that keeps hurting you. It's the decision to stop drinking the poison of past wounds over and over and choosing peace instead. You might not feel ready to forgive with your words, and that's okay. You can begin in silence. One quiet thought in the morning. I release this, not for them, but for me. Or if you're not there yet, write it down. Pour your feelings onto a page. Anger, sorrow, confusion. Let your journal become your safe temple. When you do this, you're not denying the pain. You're acknowledging it and then stepping beyond it. Just as the Buddha sat with Mara under the Bodhi tree, facing every fear, temptation, and memory without flinching, we too can sit with what haunts us and gently say, I see you, but you no longer control me. Combining gratitude and forgiveness is like washing the heart every morning. Gratitude reminds you of the beauty that's still here. Forgiveness clears away the emotional dust that dulls your light. And together, they prepare your mind to meet the day with openness, not defense. The Buddha didn't teach these practices as luxuries. He taught them as necessities for a free and peaceful life. You can begin tomorrow morning. Sit in silence. Say, thank you. And then ask yourself, Is there anything I'm still carrying that I no longer need? You don't have to fix it all at once, but even one breath of letting go is a step toward liberation. Before you rush into the noise of the day, take one last breath with me. In this moment, right here, you are enough. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are simply a human being learning to walk this path with more awareness, more kindness, and more peace. The Buddha didn't promise a life without challenges, but he did show us that freedom begins within. And every morning, you get to choose that freedom again. And thank you for being here, for showing up, and for being part of Buddhist journey. If this touched your heart, one of the next videos on your screen will guide you even deeper. Watch it now. Let your transformation continue.